Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian, and we have our part 2. So it's its own episode. It's episode 314, but it is our Civil Gore Season 9 premiere part 2. We split it up, as we mentioned last week, due to the ton of content. We didn't want to just bore you and read literally list after list of things. And so this is good too. And we actually, for the first, I think one of the first times in history, we actually have an episode in the bank that will be released. This one, when you're hearing this should be released on this Wednesday, which is going to be, I guess we should announce that's going to be our new release date.
We're trying to get a lot more regularly scheduled this season, unlike last season, which was a complete disaster. So we're going to try to make Wednesday our release date because if we make it Wednesday, almost any time that we're available to record will give me editing time to get the episode out. So it provides us a layer of buffer there that'll help us get these episodes out in a more timely fashion. So
yeah,
start looking for these on Wednesday midweek. Obviously,
this is our third different day too.
I know it is.
Really.
We were doing Friday one time, then we're doing Monday, but I think this works, especially if we stick to a Monday recording schedule. I think Wednesday would be great. And like Brian said, we got an episode in the bank. We may actually have two in the bank once we figure
actually
this all
this week,
out.
because we have some two interviews lined up this week alone. That we're not sure where we're going to place those in. One of them I think might need to come right away as a bone mini-sode. I have to check when we talk. We're going to talk to Megan Adara again, as we were mentioning, with their new movie Amelia coming out. So we're going to talk to her. She's got a Kickstarter. I think there's still like a month left in it. But I want to make sure we get that out. That one out fast if we can, because I want to be able to have her plenty of time. And it seems like she's getting a lot of good Kickstarter followings, because you can see on Instagram. But so we have that coming up. We have and then the one, I guess, should we say the episode that we have coming up in the bag?
I let it slip to a couple people. So we can announce it, 'cause it'll get people excited for it. Yeah,
so we did one of our world famous roundtables. World famous. And we did Nosferatu, so that should be fun. And of course, we got the usual gang back together, even though Cone has not seen it, which kind of adds to the comedy, I think, of
it
that
was
episode
great,
with him. But you got Cone, Ken, and Emily all joined us to discuss. We go for literally, when we just say everything, like we mean everything, like from the peen to the premiere, I guess. I don't know. But so it'll be fun. It was a fun episode to record, even though we had a little technical difficulties towards the end. We just got that in, but thank God Zoom must have fixed something, because Zoom kind of managed to put it all in one file. Yeah, literally, It kicked me out 3 times in the final minute, and I was the host, and somehow it still recorded it all into one file. I don't know what happened, but thank God.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put an explicit warning on that episode, by the way. That one got a little crazy, but that's what made it fun. So we do have a first chop this episode, unlike last episode. So let's get right to it. This is our first chop. All right, Brian, I just had a couple of things. First off, I finished a horror novel. One of my resolutions this year is to read more horror, because I'm typically a big fantasy guy, and I read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of history, but I don't typically read a lot of horror. But I've actually got more horror books on Kindle than anything else, because I keep buying them and just not reading them. But I did finish one that was called Experimental Film, and it's by an author named Emma Giles. And I think she used to be a film critic, because this novel is full of film. That
name sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah, this novel is full of film buff type stuff, but it's a really cool book. It's about a woman. She has an autistic son, which that added a lot of different wrinkles in this I had not read before. I thought made her a very complex character, very interesting. But she comes across some lost footage of a female director that had directed these films, had long since passed away, but she directed these films, and they depicted this folk story about this lady named Lady Midsummer, which is like this It reminded me of that woman. What is that movie coming out? Like The Woman in the Field or whatever. I can't remember the name of it.
The Woman in the Yard, is it?
Woman in the Yard or something, whatever. But it reminded me of that.
There's a woman,
because
she's in some yard or field.
There's a woman in a field or yard, but this woman would appear, and if you didn't like cater to her, she would like cut your head off. It was like this folklorian, very folk horror type story, and this was depicted in this film. And so she's trying to track this down, but through all this, it starts getting really supernatural, and you don't know what's in her head and is Lady Midsummer actually real. It gets really crazy. And it has a really cool ending. I would love to see this as either a shortened into like a TV episode for some anthology, or like a full feature movie. I think it'd be really super cool, but I really liked it. So that's experimental film by Emma Giles. I love.
By the way, it was Yard. I looked it
Woman
up.
in the Yard.
She is in the yard.
She is
the
in the yard.
The clown is in the
field.
cornfield. The clown's no right. The clown's in the cornfield.
Yeah, the clown's in the cornfield. Definitely, the woman's in the
Why
yard.
does this sound like a Harry Chapin song, like the clown's in the cornfield, the woman's in the yard? Yeah, and we'll have to get Jeff Whitmire on that one.
Yes. The other thing I watched was Grotesquerie, and this is the series. It's on Hulu that came out last year. I never got a chance to watch it because I was so busy doing the horror challenge. And this one's really good. It's a Ryan Murphy production, so of course he did American Horror Story, and this definitely has some American Horror Story vibe to it. But it's about this cop, and she's tracking down this serial killer that's like crazy. Makes these wild tableaus of dead bodies and stuff. It's like an extreme serial killer, and she enlists the help of this nun to help her solve this crime. And the real appeal of this one, besides all the twists and turns, is that it's very Twin Peaks-ish. And Brian, I think this is why you would like it. It's very David Lynchian. It's got a lot of like these weird characters that don't make any sense, like they're over the top, that kind of thing.
I love that.
Yeah. And so, and as the series goes on, it just keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And I can't go any more into it without giving anything away. But check this one out if you missed it last year. Grotesquerie on Hulu. It's and the acting is phenomenal. Like the lead in this one is incredible. So definitely check this one out if you get a chance.
Is this the one with Travis Kelce in it?
It has Travis Kelce in it, which I had no clue going in. Which he's not terrible. I mean, he's not terrible. He's for a football player, he's a decent actor. But,
I mean, honestly, to me, you say Grotesquerie and you put Travis Kelce in it. I'm thinking of yesterday's game between the Bills and the Chiefs, because I'm sure the Bills would agree, with some of the, as Tim likes. Tim loves to see all the people complain about the bad calls. Although I will say, not I don't want to get into football and I don't want to debate this issue, but there was one, there was a missed call, that one on the catch. I bet, you know what, whatever. I don't know what kind of view they actually got on that. And I've seen both sides of it, actually, and that one may have been legit a catch because it's that judgment call of whether they held on to it kind of thing.
Yeah,
but Buffalo got that first down that they did not give them. That was horrible spot, and I hate the Bills, I hate the Chiefs, so I really have no stake in this other than I probably hate the Chiefs right now a little more than the Bills.
What's funny is, like, I care nothing about football. I literally typically watch one football game a year, and that is the Super Bowl. And I'll occasionally, if I'm interested, I'll watch the playoff games, which I did this year. And I really only watched the Chiefs game because Anna wanted to watch it to get a shot of Taylor Swift because of Kelsey. But so and anytime I can get Anna to watch football with me, that's cool. So I take advantage of it. But I don't really care about either of these teams. So it's just hilarious to me watching people get so mad about the Chiefs and about the refs. And like some of the memes that have come out on TikTok and the Facebook reels are just freaking hilarious. There's one guy that does like, I can't remember his name, but he does he's like a grown man, but he dresses like Napoleon Dynamite and he plays the refs.
I've seen him. Yeah, that guy's funny.
He's hilarious. Like, look, them making fun of Mahomes it's comedy gold. I don't care where you like. To me, it doesn't matter. Like I laugh at all of it because I don't care about any of these teams. But it's hilarious.
If the funny thing is, it is uncanny though. If you look at the history of like some of the way these calls, the NFL is just notorious for horrible calls, and and the same bias came for when Brady was the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
And, and like, I mean, they literally changed a rule for that guy. But as it went on, though, here's the thing. It's like anything. Towards the end of as Brady, and then he got the whole Deflategate thing and all these things started coming out. Like, like you see how he's not going to get the calls. So he's not going to get these calls forever, Mahomes. So, but I tell you, I'm mad because basically the Jets 2 years ago and the Jets are so terrible, but the Jets had the Chiefs beat, and there was a terrible, I think it was a roughing the passer or some kind of weird call or something, and it was I mean, even the announcers hate the Jets, and they were defending the Jets in that one, so that shows you how bad that call was. But
Yeah,
whatever.
the guy on TikTok, the guy he had Mahomes trip, and he goes, he penalized the grass for roughing the quarterback, something like that. He had a 15-yard penalty for the grass.
Well, yeah, and there was one. Did you see the one where it was this guy was like ultimate conspiracy theory and all it was, if you look at it, it was like the TV channel, whichever one was showing it, had the wrong down there. It was obvious what happened because someone says, "Look what happened." It was basically the Chiefs got a play. They got a first down.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that, right? And then they went and they got a 3 yards, and then it went back to the second down. And I'm like, no, you got to look back. He didn't actually get it that time. He got it this time. It's like it was second down. They just moved the wrong. If you looked at the wrong thing on there, they never moved the chains. Yeah, they never moved the thing. And oh my God, speaking of this, I never saw NBC yesterday. This was funny, and I was about to I literally called Julian to see did I hit something, because I don't know what the cable we have is weird. And I was watching the Saturday Night Main Event for WWE, and I'm watching the game, and in the background you hear this the Spanish track, and it's playing simultaneously at the same volume as the other one, so you're making it out. And I said, wait a minute. I said, did I hit something? Because so many times the dogs will jump on the remote, and you don't know what they hit, and I'm like, did I hit some kind of split screen but of sound where it can play both for people in the room? And Julie's about to handle it, and then right when I did it, my friend Dom texts me. He goes, "Are you getting this weird thing with the?" I said, "Oh, good. It's okay. It's NBC. It's not my TV." I said, "I literally thought I broke some setting that I cannot find, and it was gone." But I'm like, it went on for 3 minutes. I'm like, how do you not fix that in 3 minutes? Like a live show that you've been prepped for. It's got to be a button somewhere. Did no one?
Somebody forgot to hit the mute on the Spanish track.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but anyway, it went on, and it didn't matter. Almost, the event was kind of boring on WWE for WWE standards, but whatever. So yeah, I have a couple of first shop items. One is so I'll just go over quick. Played a couple of kind of fun horrified games with my nephews. Were here over the holidays, and we played. We started doing that. What was it? The World of Monsters, the one with Cthulhu?
Yeah, World of Monsters. Yeah.
We had the fastest game in history. We put Cthulhu and I think the Shang-Chi, I think is the other thing.
The Chinese vampire thing.
Now, pretty much, I think out of all the horrified games we played, I think I lost maybe once, and that might have been the time with you and Ken. That time when we spent an hour and a half trying to see if that last move could change the outcome, and it didn't. We lost in 10 minutes.
It's a lot harder.
I've never seen such bad cards being pulled in my life. Literally 3 in a row. We get and Cthulhu just kept landing and hitting us, and we're boom, 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 and next thing you know, that fear meter was up on number 4 on the out of the first 10 turns. I was like, this is ridiculous. There's no way we're going to win this game. It's impossible at this point because we had Cthulhu and Shang-Chi. And the Cthulhu, remember, there's 2 levels. You have to first beat him, send him to that thing, and then you got to jump in, put the chains on him, and then beat him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so we played it again. We just said, let's just try Shang-Chi, and we won that game really quick. So then we're like, all right, let's just play against Cthulhu. So we're playing Cthulhu, and we got him in. We beat him into his realm really fast. Then we're like, well, we got some time. Let's just keep picking up things. And we go around. And then I don't know what happened, but somehow we made some kind of weird glitch in it where we realized, oh my God, if we don't do something soon, we're gonna run out of moves. I think, we're running out of the cards. That's what it was.
If you run out
we're
of
gonna run out of the cards. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, guys, we got to do something. So we managed to do it. And we beat him. But I tell you, World of Monsters is definitely the most challenging horror-fight to date, I think.
It is. We lost. I played it actually 3 players the other game night because one of our group couldn't make it, so we didn't play our normal game. So we decided to play Horrified, and we tried it with 2 monsters. That was easy, not Cthulhu. And then we decided, okay, let's bump it up to no, I'm sorry, we played with 3 monsters in one, but not Cthulhu, like 3 easier monsters. Then we decided, okay, let's play with Cthulhu, but we'll only do 2 monsters this time because he's harder, and we still lost. Like
Yeah,
we still lost.
Yeah, because Cthulhu, like when you hit that exclamation point, that like makes him move. Things happen like on the
Yeah, he
board.
does
A
all
lot of
kinds of
stuff
stuff.
happens. Yeah, it's definitely challenging, and I'm still upset because I've still yet to get the Krampus version because I should I'm kind sure it's kind of rotten what they did, honestly, with Ravensburger. I'm a little annoyed. Remember they like if you didn't buy the Worlds of Monsters yet, you could buy it and then get the Krampus for free. And I'm like, this thing has been out for 6 months. Most true fans are jumped at that game already
Right.
and bought it. So now I see it on eBay for like $125 and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend that for just one extra monster. So I remember Cohn had said that they talked about possibly releasing it as a standalone later on, which I hope they do. But they also announced the new one, the Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah,
Horrified.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh my God, is that so cool? Because you get a 20-sided die in it, so they're going to add the 2 elements of Horrified and D&D. We got to tell Jim Kurtz that. He'll probably love that. That'll probably be right up his alley with that game.
I can't wait
He's a
for
big
that
D&D
one
guy.
because I love D&D. I'm playing D&D now. I got a session going with some people online.
I need to start. I want to get back into it. You got me those cool things with the rolling die and the math and everything. I got to really get into D&D. The problem is like, you need people to do it here, and I don't,
It's hard. It's hard getting more. You need multiple people. You don't need just like one other person. And getting in a group that meets regularly is tough. That's really tough.
Well, we need to do that online campaign we discussed with our group. So
Yeah, that would be fun
to do that. So the other thing I want to say is the Blockbuster board game. So we had this funny little exchange we did like for the holidays where it was like one of those things with the where everyone bought like a $10 gift. And you kind of like did the Julie read the thing, you ever hear that thing, the right and wrong or right left game, where it's like a story. It's like the Wright family came over and they went left, and then that was right. And so every time it does it, you have to pass the gift that way.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah. So Julie was doing it. And oh my God, was this hilarious because she was reading it so fast and like things were all over. But anyway, it ended up one of the games in there was well, besides the funniest one was Kangaroo Doo-Doo, or Doo-Doo Kangaroo it was called, which we got at Target on sale, and the thing didn't even have all the pieces in it. And I'm like, no wonder why it was on sale. That's another thing. But one of the games we got was Blockbuster, the Blockbuster board game, which I've seen a million times, and I'm like, how fun could that be? We played it on New Year's Eve with we had some friends over and family, and oh my God, it's the biggest us game. So I'm just going to give you a quick tip on why you'll see why this game is so great to play. So when you started off, so you picked your teams, right? And usually we had 3-on-3. And what you have to do is the first thing is you have this little like parking lot set up and everything, and you set the teams. And the first thing is the quick fire round. So you send someone up like Family Feud, picture Family Feud, right?
Okay.
You go
nice.
up, and the 2 people go up there, and this is to gain the advantage in the next round. That's all this does. Kind of like Family Feud. So what you do is you have to so it'll say you have to keep reading things. So like example, the one they said movies that take place on a boat, and so the first person yells out like Jaws, and then the next person has to yell, keep going until the timer runs out. Yeah, and whoever ends with the last answer gets the advantage. So, and then you move on. So then you go into the little parking lot, and basically what you do is you pick some cards. You have to pick. I think you pick 3 cards. Oh, the host. There's a host. He picks pick 6 cards, 1 for each category. Actually, scratch that. That's not yet. Pick 6 cards. And now you can put those 3 cards. You have to pick 3 cards. So this is where your advantage comes in. You have to pick whatever the movie is on it. You have to pick it on 3 different spots. 1 word, quote, and act it. 1 word is basically you can say 1 word that they have to guess the movie from. Quote it is obviously you say a quote from the movie and they have to guess. And 3 is act it, which is kind of like a charade kind of thing. The
Oh,
only thing
that's
is
so us.
you obviously can't say the movie name in the whole
Right.
thing, you know. And I mean, there's rules to. I'm sure that like there's rules you can kind of finagle. Like if the movie's like I don't know, like something about Mary, you can't go. Where's one thing about Rary or something? You know,
Yeah,
you can't say
yeah,
it like
yeah.
that, like
That's
in the
follow the
middle of
spirit
your
of the
thing.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but why your advantage is good is because then you can take the 3 easiest out of those 6 cards that you think your team is going to get. And so it's like one example is like I had Wolf of Wall Street in it, and I put it on for quote one word. I did one word, and my word was sides, and I did it exactly like you remember, like he said in there.
Yeah.
My team didn't get it, unfortunately. And it was like Julie, I was like, how did you not get that? You watch that movie every day. But yeah, so and basically so you do that and you have to try and get all 3 of your cards. And basically the way you win it is I think you have to get whoever wins at the last you have to get you have to get 8 genre cards out of all that. So it could go for a while until you collect all the different 8 genres that are in
Oh,
there.
okay.
So it's for this tiny little box game. It's so much fun in there. I mean, especially because I mean, think about it. Like you can put you, me, and Cone and Ken and Emily and or something in a game like that. You know, it's like I get to see what'll happen, especially if we get some horror things. And there's some tricky ones in there. Like I think one was like one of the 007 movies. You can't just say James Bond. You had to get the full movie. So how are you gonna like that's challenging to book. So I remember I got that and I passed it to someone else. I'm like, they're never gonna guess this James Bond movie. They didn't. I mean, they got James Bond. They were yelling out different James Bond movies because I
Oh,
forgot.
there's
I think
tons of
our
them.
friend. Yeah, I think our friend did like the pose, and so they guessed it, and they were just shouting. But and there's a timer, so you only have so much time each round. So, but yeah, I highly recommend that game for movie fans. And it's like I kind of hope they like kind of re-release it with more questions, or there's an add-on pack that you can get more movies on or something. But it's really fun. So
That sounds cool.
yeah. So definitely, I highly recommend that board game for parties.
Very nice. Our next little tidbit here, we were surprised. We got on FeedSpot's top 90 best horror movie podcasts for 2025 list, which is kind of cool. We came in
Or
at number
98. No, like
no, we came in we're number 100 on the top 90. No,
Yeah.
we actually came in at number 59. I was very, very pleased with that. But I was really excited. Our good pod friends, Kim and Cut, Stay Alive Maybe, came in at number 3 with a bullet.
Yeah, they were right up there, and they were only like the people in front of them was like last podcast on the left, which is possibly
enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot what number 2 was, but you could check it out. You just Google FeedStop's top 90 horror podcast 2025. It'll take you.
Number
to
2 was Horror Queers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Harvard. And then Spooky Tuesday, which I know, I think I found out through them, through Katie Afraidy. She was, they were number 4, but there were some notable omissions on there in that top group. Because I mean, listen, I'm the first to talk about our podcast. That to be honest, I know we're like okay, we are not the top, but like first of all, how Katie Afraidy herself did not make this list ahead of us is. I don't know. And also another one I didn't see. Now, granted, you could go further past the 90, but you have to email them for the list. So there's a little catch to getting that. Also, like, I mean, a Friday the 13th, we know, Queens and NC-17. There's a lot of other podcasts that should be on that list. At least in our area.
I don't know how they're pulling this list. Like, are they looking at longevity? Are they looking at number of episodes? I don't know. So who knows?
They randomize it like past a certain.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
It's it's mostly a thing to get get business for FeedSpot somehow, some way. But I don't know. It's kind of cool though, because you get to see all these horror podcasts like I knew nothing about. I get to see, there's that one and that one. That one also shows how many horror podcasts there are out there. There are a lot of horror podcasts.
Yeah, you could get up to like 480 they have listed there. So the way I look at it is I told Tim, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I don't even care if we made the top 90. The fact that we're on a list that someone knows us as a horror podcast, because I think what we always get that one where we're like number 17 in beer podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we still at number 17 for that? It's like, and I will say though, we need to talk to the officials of leadership in Croatia because they need to know we need to be higher than 131st there. We need to
Yeah,
move up.
especially now we're quickly climbing the feed spot ladder.
Yeah,
We need to be
they
higher in
need to.
Croatia.
Yeah, we need to put some pressure on Croatia there to change their order of where we are. Another thing though, here's good news. This is like, honestly, like, unless you're in a bubble, the world is kind of shitty right now with a lot of things going on. But here's some good news. I feel like Costa Radio is saying that. I feel like this is something that would, like, when Costa Radio does their things where they follow up on a story. So I don't know if you remember, I think it was about a year ago, we had on those two awesome filmmakers, Evan Runkle and Alex Mode. They had that awesome, cool idea movie called Field of Screams. So we, of course, I helped kickstart that, and we had them on. They talked to us all about it, and I've been following their whole long journey now to release, which is happening now. This is great for them. I love this, and not only, honestly, when you do like a little small independent film like that, you get to show it in your hometown. That's a pretty big deal. They're not only premiering it there in Denver, Colorado, kind of in the area they're from, but they're going on a little road tour with it, which
Oh,
I think is
cool.
amazing. Yeah, so if you follow them, Field of Screams Film, follow them on Instagram, you can get the information. The tickets, I think, are only on sale right now for the premiere, and that's on April 10th in Denver, Colorado. But then it moves on the 12th to Des Moines, Iowa. The next day on the 13th to Chicago, Illinois. It's a big market. I mean, it's Chicago is a big market there. You got Denver and Colorado so far. 4/14, you got to go to Burlington, Indiana. Then you have on 4/17 in LA. So they're getting an LA showing on this road tour, which is great. And then it ends, which I forgot the date. I'm sorry, it didn't leave that date, but then it goes to back to Fort Collins, Colorado. So you live in any of those areas, or you can travel to it. Definitely check it out. I'm gonna see if I can get down to that LA one, honestly, because
I'm looking forward to the movie. Yeah, it looks cool.
yeah, the trailer's out, so you can see the trailer. It's really good. I also want to see if we can get them back on to kind of give us maybe get the whole cast on, especially as it gets closer to the premiere. Give them one big push of a promo because they were so nice
They were
and they were
cool.
so dedicated. And I love that we saw, like, we got the beginnings of that, and now we see where it took them to the release of their film.
Yeah,
so
that's
congratulations on for you, Evan and Alex, and we'll look forward to talking to you about it again.
All right. So next up, we kind of changed up the dismemberment a little bit, and we did the first 2 weeks of January last week. We're going to do the last 2 weeks of January this week. I haven't settled on how this is going to look going forward. We're kind of winging it at the moment. So we're trying to just get through January. We'll figure out how exactly we're going to do the dismemberment as we go forward. Originally this was going to be like a week by week thing. Just every week's episode, we would just give you our pick of the week. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, let's cover the releases that came out last week, which are on January 21st. My pick of the week for this week was Paramount's Smile 2 4K. Obviously, that came out last year. It was the sequel to the popular horror film Smile, which I was not a fan of. I did not really particularly care for Smile. I thought it was really derivative of It Follows. And I didn't find it particularly scary because I don't think people smiling is particularly scary. But I was blown away by this one. I loved the sequel, like a lot of people did. I thought it was in every way better than the first one. So I'm totally on board with a Smile 3, as I predicted in my Ghostradamus last episode. I'll read you the description here. About to embark on a new world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley, played by Naomi Scott, begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and the pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. This has some great features on it, especially for a Paramount release. You don't usually see this number of features. Has a commentary by director Parker Finn. Take a peek behind the Smile with commentary from writer-director Parker Finn as he goes through the gory details of this terrifying sequel. Ear-to-ear featurette. Cast of filmmakers dive deep into the Smile universe and discuss how they brought the director's vision to life. The rise and fall of Sky Riley. Behind the music, a new Smile. This is Smile veteran Kyle Garner giving his insight into his character's gory return. Smiler, a new monster. This is about the some of the effects. Turn that frown upside down. Another makeup and prosthetics featurette. and Show Me Your Teeth, which is about the car crash sequence, and deleted an extended scene. So that's a really good packed disc for a Paramount
Yeah, no,
release.
and I'm with you. I mean, I like the first one, because I really like Sosie Bacon, but I thought the second one, I was not looking forward to this. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be silly. This is gonna be more of the same thing, and
Yeah,
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a little too long. That was my one gripe about it.
I
It's
could
a
agree with
little
that.
too
I could agree
long.
with that. Yeah,
They could have easily cut out a couple scenes here and there, and it would have got the same impact. But you know what? Maybe as like as part of the bigger story, it'll fit in a little better. But I liked how it kind of started off right where the first one left off, which was interesting. I didn't expect that. I thought this was going to be some kind of thing like it was going to be like years later,
yeah,
where like oh, it's happening again. And so right off the bat, they kind of subverted my expectations, which I liked. So I actually need to order Smile too. I just realized I was like looking to see if I ordered it, and I guess I didn't yet. I need to do that. Um, so yeah, but it was actually like it like kept my interest, and it was like they really took it a different way, and they obviously led to what could be kind of like a crazy third entry. I mean, and I won't say why,
yeah.
but if you go watch it, I think it's what's on Paramount Plus currently, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. It came out on
Yeah,
streaming.
yeah. So it's that's where I think I watched it anyway. So yeah, so you could see like I would go watch that, and then but like the way it ends, I'm like, wow, he is gonna have to like go nuts in this third one to kind of the way that second one ended to really deliver. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um so I picked one which I did order, and this is thank God it's getting all the praise, especially Demi Moore deserves this. That's The Substance, 4K. In case you've been in a bubble and you haven't heard what this one's about, fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell-replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. There's no extras announced yet, but I think I saw some listed when I ordered it.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
there's
think
some
there's a
on here.
yeah, I think there's a commentary and a making of from what I remember. But who would have thought that in 2020, I guess this came out 2024 technically. I mean, I saw it in 2025, but for the record, we'll say 2024. The fact that we got a Demi Moore body horror film that in like 2024 that it was so good, and it wasn't like she took a role because she needs the money. She took a role that was amazing, and is her like the metaphor for the times of it. It's just I mean it's definitely I will flip if I think she should win. I like if she wins the Oscar for that. I mean there's a lot of competition, but she like the fact that horrors like got put up in the forefront again.
Yeah, for Oscar nominations. I mean, and
Yeah.
even Nosferatu got
Yeah.
cinematography and some others, a couple other nominations. So yeah, it was a
Should have been.
big year.
I had some other suggestions that should have been nominated for, but we're lucky
Yeah,
we got two big horror films in
yeah.
there for
Baby
2024.
steps, baby steps. As more horror gets nominated, I think it opens the door.
I
So
said more the better.
yeah, so we have some other remaining new titles here. The Cell 4K from 2000. Brian, does this next one does it give you a little wood? Does it give you a little mahogany?
Yeah.
The This is John Carpenter's Vampires
Yeah.
4K, which I still quote that
One of
line.
his favorite line.
One of
That's
my
the
favorite.
line you got to put up there in
Yeah.
the little
Oh yeah, we got a
box.
soundboard now. We got it. We have we already covered Smile 2. We had April Fool's Day 4K from 86. That's a great one. Murder by
Back in
Decree.
there though to like a 4K release.
Yeah, like a lot of these are 4K. Murder by
Yeah.
Decree from 1979. Rumpelstiltskin from 1995. Azrael, which was really highly critically acclaimed. I
That
didn't
was
get a chance
good.
to
I
see it.
like that. Yeah, I watched it for the horror challenge on Shudder. It's short too. It's only like 86 minutes.
I'll have to check
But
that one out.
yeah.
The Last Voyage of the Demeter 4K from 2023, which I really enjoyed, and then Invasion of the Bee Girls from 1973. That's kind of a cult movie I've wanted to see for a while. I keep hearing about that one. We're running across it. So, yeah, our picks of the week though this week: Smile 2 4K and The Substance 4K. Those are easily two of the biggest horror releases from last year.
Yeah.
And moving on to the releases that came out yesterday, as you're listening to this. January 28th. My pick of the week this week was a really interesting one that I watched for the Horror Challenge this year. It's coming from Vinegar Syndrome and is Deranged 4K. It's from 1974. So one of my birth year movies, which I
Oh,
love.
yeah.
The film chronicles the grisly exploits of a rural necrophiliac and murderer. So I watched this one. It's heavily based on Ed Gein, the famous serial killer that inspired a bunch of horror films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho. This one is like almost like a direct retelling of his whole story. And I was really surprised by this one. Like, I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of it, but the performances are really good. It's got special effects by Tom Savini. It's a really good, solid movie. Like, I really liked it, and it was really cool when I saw that Vinegar Syndrome was doing like this deluxe 4K edition of it. I might have to pick this one up because it's a really interesting movie. Has a new 4K restoration, commentary track with writer and co-director Alan Ormsby.
Oh, he was from Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, right? Alan Ormsby was he in that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did that.
Commentary track with special effects artist Tom Savini, not Tom Salvini. Commentary track with film historian Richard Harlan Smith.
Oh, we don't even have our film historian thing ready here, but I think he's been
I think he's been
before.
Yeah. Very Unnatural Deaths, an interview with special effects artist Tom Savini. It was a fun time. Interview with actor Brian Smeagol. Disturbed a Minute Deranged.
Why couldn't he be a film historian? That would have been, that wrote itself.
Disturbed a Minute Deranged, an interview with Nightmare USA author Stephen Thrower, who hasn't been a film historian in forever.
He just does everything, though. Can't stop.
The Making of Deranged, an archival documentary, an interview with producer Tom Carr, introduction to the film by Tom Savini, original trailers, TV spot, image gallery, and reversible sleeve artwork. Definitely check this one out. If you have not seen Deranged, I would highly recommend it. It was one of the highlights of my horror challenge last year. I really liked it.
So it's funny. I think I realized something. Stephen Thrower, the reason why he's so many things, he's one of those guys, probably lived up to his name by throwing something against the wall to see what sticks. And so that's
how,
that's how he picks his things.
He throws a dart and picks his next job title.
Yeah. Speaking of picks of the week here, my pick of the week is because it's not one that I mean, I'll probably end up buying it anyway, but it's not a movie I could see myself watching repeatedly.
No.
And that is The Coffee Table. And it's from 2022, but I thought it came out last year, but we saw it last year. And let me tell you, this is one of those movies where I'm watching it and like my jaw literally hit the floor into this movie and was like physically making me tense the entire thing. And it's like a level of disturbingness. Is that a word? Disturbingness? I don't know. But it disturbed me to such a level because it was so well done and so good. And just like I don't like, I've never, like, very few movies kind of give me that kind of anxiety throughout. Like The Innocents did that. This one like might have even topped that at some level. This one was just so like unreal if you see it. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to, and I'm going to read the synopsis. And thankfully the synopsis just is why I think it's so shocking, because it really doesn't give you much. Like,
the less you know going in, the better
on
this one.
Yeah, don't look up anything about it. Just go watch it. But anyway, it's Jesus and Maria are a couple going through a difficult time in their relationship. Nevertheless, they have just become parents. To shape their new life, they decide to buy a new coffee table, a decision that will change their existence. And that's all you need to know. So I can't read some of these special features because there's one that's a spoiler.
Oh,
so I'm going to skip that one.
You're right.
I will skip that one.
Okay.
So there's audio commentary with director and co-writer Kaya Casas. This is the one I'm not going to read. The next one.
It's another audio commentary. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And there's a podcast in there that I never heard of. It has another interview with Kay Casas. I don't know if I'm saying the important person's name right, but making a featurette, still galleries, trailers, booklet with new essay by film critic Sam Cohen. Not Cohen, but Cohen.
That spoiler book that you did not read is one
Yes.
I want to get my hands on so bad.
Yeah,
Like
I want to
that.
read it, but I'm like, I feel like it's going to be like traumatizing to read
I
that
know,
book.
that's
but,
why I want it. But anyway.
Yeah. So now, like, I swear to God, if we have not pushed Coffee Table up in a while. Oh, and speaking of that Coffee Table, I don't know why this made me think of it, because I think maybe it's because we got screeners for both of them, Coffee Table and this one, but my Red Rooms Blu-ray just came the other day.
Oh, that was one of my favorites of last year.
Yeah, I got to get Julie to watch it. I told Julie she'd love that with, the true crime element to it.
Oh, yeah, she would definitely. That's definitely a Julie movie.
Yeah.
We had a lot of new titles. As you know, as you guys have done from the monthly dismemberments, they throw all their titles in at the end of the month. Like just the last week of the month is always just packed.
Which
Had
is
some
why
really,
we changed our format.
yeah, really. This has some really good ones though. You got the Keep 4K from 1983. You got a Bloodorama Triple Frightmare 2 triple feature, 1966 to 69. You have to look that one up. I can't remember what titles were on there. Black Eyed Susan from last year, The Coffee Table, which we just mentioned. Orca 4K from 1977.
I love that
Orca,
movie.
I just got the soundtrack to this not too long
Right, you
ago.
did,
I
yeah.
picked it up on clearance because it's an Ennio Morricone
I need to pick up
soundtrack.
Orca, actually. I have the. I think I
Uh,
have it on DVD, but not like the Blu-ray.
it's a good one. It's for a
Yeah.
Jaws clone, it's really good.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Iced
One of the better
from
ones.
1988. The Sacrifice Game from 2023. Another triple feature, Curse of the Devil, The Vampire's Night Orgy, and Demon Witch Child triple feature. That sounds great. 1973 to 75.
You don't have to watch it in that order they gave you. You can watch it in a more
You can.
different order.
Another double feature, The Seventh Curse and The Witch of Nepal from 1986. Another classic, Opera 4K from 1987. That was one of the first horror DVDs I ever bought was Opera.
Yeah.
Starve Acre from 2023, Kuso from 2017, Carnage for Christmas from 2024, which I watched for the Horror Challenge. The Last Witch Hunter 4K from 2015, Disembodied 4K from 1998, Dogs in Quicksand from 99, Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter from 1990, Satan War from 1979, and A Little More Flesh from 2020. So lots of titles there for all taste.
I have two comments. One, the Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter. How is that not from like the 50s? That seems like something from the 50s and it's 1990.
I'm guessing it's probably a throwback or something.
Yeah, it must be. And two, do you know, Tim, here's a little bit of Civil War trivia out there. We may ask this somewhere down the road, but I don't know if you knew this. Do you know what my first horror DVD was?
No.
I might have mentioned it once on the show, but it was Psycho. I bought 4 DVDs, and it's funny, I can't remember the others, all of them, but I remember it was I remember Can't Hardly Wait was one of them, but Psycho I bought, and I remember I was like so excited that I could get like such an iconic film like on a DVD. So it was when I first got my DVD player, and I was so excited. I went to the store
one of
they
my
used to have
early
called
ones.
Laserland. Yeah, it was good because it was when DVDs were first coming out, horror wasn't a huge thing for them.
Yeah.
Like they are now. You can get almost every horror movie like on. In fact, that's some of the only way to ever see them. But back then, I mean, I want to say maybe one of the Universal monster movies might have been, and it was just the movie. I don't even know if it was one of those nice sets that we ended up getting, but I want to say there may have been like Dracula was available, but it wasn't a lot of horror.
My first DVD I bought was As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt. That was and I didn't even have a DVD player. I don't know why. I just bought it. Because I was with.
Just wanted something round.
You know, at the time, I was interning with some people that were really big in home theater, and they had DVD players and Laserdisc and all this stuff. And so they would go like at lunch. When we went out to lunch, we'd always hit like the home theater places, and we would always hit Circuit City. This is how old I am. Circuit City, and look at their DVDs, and I just bought it on a whim because I knew I would get a DVD player eventually. I don't remember the first horror. It might have been Interview with the Vampire. And I know Twisters was a very early one I bought. That might have been the second one I bought. And then
Deep Impact might have been in that batch I got.
Yeah, that was an early one. I remember the Bram Stoker's Dracula I bought was the one that came out in that Super Bit format.
Oh, I remember Super Bit. Yeah,
remember Super Bit came out like they would eliminate some of the extras and try to make it more like higher quality, and like that was like the 4K of the time.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that was fun. But anyway. I've still got every DVD. I've never gotten rid of a DVD from those first batches. I'm not saying I've never gotten rid of a DVD in my life. I have gotten rid of things that I've replaced on Blu-ray, but my first DVDs that I bought, those very early ones, I still have.
Yeah, it was fun back in the day. Now it's like it's funny. I like buy so many that I'm like I remember getting like the almost like the there was this like magic when you would bring home a DVD back in the day, you know, because you know, like someone went from, you know, I didn't really get into the Laserdisc as much, so I kind of went from VHS to right to DVD. Yeah. Oh, sorry, and so I was like, I remember how excited I was, like putting in the DVD player and like seeing it come up. And do you remember like when I think it was Universal Discs where they always have that was that where they would show the thing for that George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez movie where it'd go and they'd light the lighter. What was it? Out of bounds? What was it? What was
Can't
that
remember the
movie?
name of that movie. I know,
I
I
got
know
like totally
exactly
dropped.
one you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
but like yeah, and they had they would always like show that as the opening like thing to the movie. And I remember it was back when you'd get the trailers on it before you could a while that was like a thing. And it's so funny how it's advanced now.
Yeah.
From when it started. But
all right, well, it's time to get into our 2025 preview part 2. This is going to be books and video games. So as you know, every year tons and tons of horror novels come out. Always there's some, when I was growing up, it was always Dean Koontz and Stephen King and John Saul, Richard Lehman. Those were like
John Saul.
John Saul. There was like a handful of like horror writers, and now you see like it's funny now because you see some new like horror writers that get really popular, like Grady Hendrix. You see popping up time and time and again. Paul Tremblay popping up time and time and again. So there's so many good horror authors out there now, compared to when I was growing up. Which when I was growing up, it's the same Paperbacks from Hell. The old horror was like this redheaded stepchild. It was like these cheap paperbacks that were kind of shoved away, and they were kind of trashy, and it was nothing like it is today now you go into Barnes and Noble and there's like these beautiful hardcovers and trade paperback horror, and it's all nice. I mean, back then it was like they were all black covered. It's like trashy paperbacks.
I know.
And now those are the ones that everybody wants to buy because they can't find them anymore.
They can't get them anymore.
All right, so I guess we'll alternate through these, and we're going in release order. So released already this month on the 7th was Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is from Vulture's master of horror, Clay McLeod Chapman, a relentless and emotionally charged social horror novel about a family on the run from a demonic possession epidemic that spreads through media. For fans of The Last of Us and When Evil Lurks. Sounds really cool.
Yeah, that one sounds cool. And plus, both of those movies are, but Last of Us, of course, the show was great, but When Evil Lurks, if you've not seen that yet, that is a must watch. That is so good.
Yeah.
Tim was raving about it, and I said, all right, well, now I'm going to get in disappointment but no, he undersold it somehow. It was that good. I wanted to, before we move to the next one, though, I want to thank the website I found. It was Books, Bones, and Buffy. So it's, I think you can get them at HTTPS, whatever / the whole thing, booksbonesbuffy.com. So yeah, because I was trying to find a good site that would list all the good horror things, and this one was the best one I found. So shout out to them. Next one is The Way Up is Death. And that one's by Dan Hanks. I don't know if that's a Tom Hanks brother, like Jim Hanks, or, he's just like the unheralded Hanks that like decided to go to the written word instead of the screen. It says, when a mysterious tower appears in the skies over England, 13 strangers are pulled from their lives to stand before it as a countdown begins. Above the doorway is one word: ascend. That sounds really cool, actually.
That does sound cool.
We started off with 2 books that I'm like, I might have to get these.
Well, make it 3, because the next one up is by Grady Hendrix, which is one of my favorite horror authors working today. This one is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. This is latest. It just came out on the 14th of this month. They call them wayward girls, loose girls, girls who grew up too fast, and they're sent to the Wellwood home in St. Augustine, Florida, where unwed mothers are hidden by their families to have their babies in secret, give them up for adoption, and most important of all, to forget any of it ever happened. I'm a big fan of Grady Hendrix. I haven't read all of his stuff. I've read quite a few of his things. I've still got some that are on the Kindle right now that I haven't read yet. But he is definitely one of my favorite horror authors today.
Nice. Next one sounds pretty interesting. It says At the Bottom of the Garden by Camilla Bruce. It says a murderess becomes the guardian of 2 very unusual girls in a mesmerizing gothic novel from acclaimed author Camilla Bruce. Almost sounds like a really dark version of like Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Like some criminal,
right.
Like, and this time it's like, instead of just a little goofy criminal that has to adopt kids, these are a murderess, like a murderer literally has to adopt 2 kids.
And that one's out today as you're hearing this. Next one up is Old Soul from Susan Barker. I don't know if she's any relation to Clive, but great horror author name.
I'm sorry, she's sister to Carnival.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Carnival Barker. Sorry, that's terrible.
Okay, Old Soul. When two grieving strangers meet by chance in Osaka airport, they uncover a disturbing connection. Jake's best friend and Mariko's twin brother each died 6,000 miles apart in brutal and unfathomable circumstances. And that one's
There's
also
where
out
you
today.
there's where you needed to do like one of those like soundboard things. There has to be something I did for that one, right? That like a groaner of a joke, like
Oh yeah, you're right. I did see. I'm not up to speed on my soundboard. I have to get the little drum beat thing going.
you know which one I have to get us? Like, sure about that?
Yeah.
Sure about that? Tim Robinson. I gotta,
Yeah, they definitely got to get that one. Some Tim Robinson ones there.
yeah, I gotta
sure.
get him on there. He's just too good. Next one is Listen to Your Sister by Nina Veal. It says, for fans of Jordan Peele's films, Stranger Things, and The Other Black Girl, Listen to Your Sister is a laugh-out-loud, deeply terrifying, and big-hearted speculative horror novel from electrifying debut talent Nina Veal. That's interesting. Or Veal. Is it Veal or Veal?
Veal? It looks like Veal, yeah.
Yeah, well, because Veal is Veil, so...
And that one comes out February 4th.
Either way, that sounds really good, though.
Yeah. Next up's Hunger Stone from Kat Dunn. Set against the violent wilderness of the Moors and the uncontrolled appetite of the Industrial Revolution, Hunger Stone is a compulsive feminist reworking of Carmilla, the book that inspired Dracula, captivating story of appetite and desire. That comes out February 18th, just in time for your post-Valentine's Day. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Oh, somehow I got stuck with one of Tim's that he usually does. Because his name, I'm probably gonna poor butcher it. It's the movie. The book is called The Unworthy, and it's by Augustina Bazterrica.
Oh, you did that pretty good.
Probably right. Yeah. It says the long-awaited new novel from the author of the global sensation Tender is the Flesh, a thrilling work of literary horror about a woman cloistered in a secretive, violent religious order, while outside the world has fallen into while outside the world has fallen into chaos. That seems a little too close to home. Right?
I didn't realize that this was the same author, but I've got Tender is the Flesh.
Oh, really?
I picked it up on sale the other week. Yeah. That one comes out March 4th.
Look at you. Cool. You're ahead of the game now, Tim.
Ahead of the game. Now, next one up is Vanishing Daughters from Cynthia Palaio. A haunted woman stalked by a serial killer confronts the horrors of fairy tales and the nightmares of real life in a breathtaking novel of psychological suspense by a Bram Stoker Award-winning author. That one comes out on March 11th.
Nice. Next one is Rose of Jericho, and that's by Alex Grecian. It says, from New York Times bestselling author of Red Rabbit comes a supernatural horror where ghosts and ghouls are the least of a witch's problems in historical New England. That's on March 11th also.
Now, this one sounds right up my alley, and I've heard of Stephen Graham Jones before. I've probably read some of his books. This sounds amazing. Yeah, The Buffalo Hunter. Stephen Graham Jones, a chilling historical horror novel set in the American West in 1912 following a Lutheran priest who transcribes the life of a vampire who haunts the fields of the Blackfeet Reservation looking for justice. How cool. A horror Western, man? That's right up my alley. Yeah. I'm definitely looking out. That one comes out March 18th.
You know what's funny, too? If you think about the horror Western movies I've watched, almost all of them, I don't know of a bad one.
No, they've all been great.
Like that Oregon Trail, that other one with
the wind
Lauren
one.
Compton. Yeah, that other one, the Pale Door, like all those
Pale Door,
really good.
Bone Tomahawk, all of those are good.
Oh yeah, and what was the one we watched where we had the guy we had the actor on it.
I can't remember now, but
it was that first one. Yeah, like that one was really good. Next one is The Haunting of Room 904 by Erica T. Worth. It says, from the author of White Horse, Twisty and Electric, the New York Times Book Review, comes the terrifying and resonant novel about a woman who uses her unique gift to learn the truth about her sister's death. That's comes out on March 18th.
Another one here for March 18th is White Line Fever by Casey Jones. From Bram Stoker Award finalist Casey Jones comes a haunting road trip gone wrong where four friends must drive for their lives to escape the devil's driveway.
You think Casey Jones is going to bring his hockey stick? And
all of those, you better watch his speed.
Yeah,
if you're a Grateful Dead fan.
Yeah. Next one is Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna.
Sorry, though, I was late on the drum roll there.
I know. Okay. You didn't do it. Blood on Her Tongue, Joanna Van Veen. It says the Netherlands, 1887. What is this, like Danger Mouse? Like none. Or no, wait, I'll do it or should I do it like Sophia from Golden Girls? The Netherlands, 1887. Dorothy. No, okay. It says Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She refuses to eat, mumbles nonsensically, and is increasingly obsessed with centuries-old corpse recently discovered on her husband's grand estate. That's on 325.
Well, I mean, 1887 horror novel though. That anything historic like that, I love. I love
Yeah,
historical fiction.
that's another Tim.
Next one up is Cold Eternity by S.A. Barnes. Cold Eternity, the newest space horror novel from the author of Dead Silence and Ghost Station, blends the dystopian dread of Severance with the catastrophic approach to AI from Megan. That one comes out
Yeah.
April 8th. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. And by the way, it's Mithrigan, just in case.
Mithrigan, sorry. Yeah, Mithrigan.
Yeah. Here's one. It just sounds like a Tim one. When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. It says Nat Cassidy, author of Mary and Nestlings, returns When a Wolf Comes Home, an unabashed, adrenaline-fueled pop horror thriller reminiscent of Dean Koontz and Stephen King and inspired by The Lathe of Heaven and Terminator 2.
Okay. That sounds crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and that's 422. Sorry.
A lot of cannibal books coming out lately. This one is
Yeah.
Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin, a twisted tangle story about workplace love affairs and plants with a taste for human flesh. Also coming out April 22nd.
This Plants vs. Zombie, the novel? What the...
This is a well-known author here.
Yeah, Chuck Wendig. He does a bunch of Star Wars stuff, too, so
Yeah.
I know him well. I've read a bunch of his stuff. Staircase in the Woods. It says, a group of friends investigates the mystery of a strange staircase in the woods in this mesmerizing horror novel from New York Times bestselling author of The Book of Accidents. I don't know why that's the one book they picked on there. He's got like a ton of them. But anyway, and that comes out on 429.
This one I'm really interested in because this is based off an actual urban legend. This is called Polybius, and it's by Colin Armstrong. Stranger Things meets The Walking Dead in this chilling novel based on the terrifying urban legend about a video game created by the government for psychological warfare. And I've listened to podcasts about this whole legend. It's really, really interesting. It's like this arcade game that people remember playing when they were younger, and then it got pulled out of the arcades, and it was apparently designed by the government.
There was a documentary on this, I think, on this urban legend.
Yeah. It's really popular. That one also comes out April 29th, but I definitely want to pick that one up. That sounds cool.
I got to look this up. I could have sworn I saw some documentary on it or something. It's so familiar, that thing with where everyone remembers the game, but it doesn't, like, it's like all erased from existence. Kind of thing.
Yeah. It's cool.
So the next one is The Nightbirds, and it's by Christopher Golden. It says, the next gripping atmospheric horror from New York Times bestselling author Christopher Golden, set in a deteriorated, half-sunken freighter ship off the coast of Galveston, Texas.
Christopher Golden's interesting.
Spice.
I think he started out as a young adult author, and then he moved into horror and started doing adult horror novels. Really interesting. I think I've read at least one of his books before.
Oh, and that one comes out May 6th. Sorry, I almost forgot that part.
The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling, from the nationally best-selling author of The Luminous Dead and The Death of Jane Lawrence, a transfixing, intensely atmospheric fever dream of medieval horror. Oh, man. There's so many on here I want to read now.
This whole year is planned out.
I know. This one comes out May 20th. Man, all this historical horror fiction. I didn't know that was even a real thing.
Maybe you should do a book version of the horror challenge.
I know.
You don't have to read like 600 and 365 books, obviously, but like
read
maybe
a book
like
a day?
make a total, and then go for it. Next one is My Ex, the Antichrist. Craig DeLuey says, when a rock musician learns her ex-boyfriend is the biblical Antichrist, she must find a way to stop him before he grows powerful enough to end the world. Daisy Jones and the Six meets The Omen. That's a interesting mix. In this novel about music, love, free will, and the apocalypse.
Oh,
Nice.
I love that. Yeah, that comes out June 1st. Last three here. Girl in the Creek by Wendy N. Wagner. The Girl in the Creek by Hugo Award winner Wendy N. Wagner is an atmospheric and eerie story about a Pacific Northwest forest that seems to be devouring all who enter. Perfect read for fans of T. Kingfisher and Jeff Vandermeer's sci-fi cosmic horror. Or cli-fi. I guess that's like climate.
Yeah, I know. It says cli-fi. What does that
Sci-fi
mean?
cosmic horror. June 24th. There's so many like horror sub-genres now that are just so interesting to me.
What is cli-fi? That's
I don't know. It's like feels like it might have to do something like climate, like eco horror type thing. Because Rebecca McKendry was talking about on Colors in the Dark. I was listening to recently. There's a big surge in what they call spore horror, lot of mushroom horror coming out in the book literary world. Like there's a lot of seems to be
Mushroom
like a lot of mushroom horror.
Oh,
I mean,
I tell
probably
you,
because Last of Us, you know.
you ever get confused at something, just like Google Rebecca McKendry and the topic, and I guarantee you she has information on it.
Yeah, I love
There's
her.
something
I
like,
love the podcast. I love her.
yeah,
I love that she's so in tune with horror fiction and horror graphic novels and movies, like and TV series. Like she's very much into all the different
yeah.
forms of media, and it's really cool.
And she
to see.
finds time to be a parent and goes all places and finds time to do to direct and write her own movies with her husband. So
It's
I don't know how
incredible.
this woman, like, does she not sleep? She must not. She's she's like too awesome to be one person almost, you know? It's
Yeah,
like,
she's really amazing.
next one is The Library at Hellbore. Cassandra Caw, I guess.
Caw.
It's Khaw. Caw.
I like that.
Yeah. It says a deeply dark academia novel from USA Today bestselling author. Oh, I gotta say her name again. Bestselling author Cassandra Caw. Perfect fans of A Deadly Education and the Atlas Six who are hungry for something a little more diabolical. And that is on July 22nd. Now, just to preface it, the last book that Tim's about to tell you is in August. That doesn't mean there's not more coming out. This was just
Right.
a list that they had. There could be
Yeah.
more announced for the second half of the year later on.
Yeah, typically they don't announce all the way through the end of the year unless
Yeah, books are a little harder than movies to predict out the year.
The last one here is Cathedral of the Drowned by Nathan Ballingrud. The sequel to Crypt of the Moon Spider, which also sounds cool. Cathedral of the Drowned is a dripping, squirming, scuttling tale of altered bodies and minds. It comes out August 26, 25.
Yes,
I
we're
know
not
I've wanted
recapping all those for you, by the way. So just
No.
rewind if you missed one.
I have always wanted. There's like a subgenre of like really, really, really extreme literary horror, like extreme, like disgusting, crazy stuff. And I watch YouTube videos of people that have read some of these books. I've been kind of scared to do it myself, but at some point I may have to break down and just try one. There are some really
Hey, you
crazy
watched the
ones.
Serbian film for all of us. Go
True.
read one of these.
I remember when I was growing up, I had a zombie paperback collection of short stories that were like super extreme. That one was really, really gory. It was really interesting. But
oh, nice.
So let's move on to video games. Not a whole lot of these. I think we had 12 on the list.
Video games are weird too because I feel like those just come out randomly without much like.
They do,
crap.
yeah. They're not always announced, and these are all except for one, I think, has a May release date. But all of these are just like generally 2025, so we don't really know when they're coming out. I think we'll just. I mean, most of these are out for. I guess we'll tell you if it's only for PC only. Otherwise, they should be out for pretty much all the other consoles.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll go through these. Little Nightmares 3 is the first one on our list. I have played Little Nightmares 1. I think I own number 2 and haven't played it yet. I'm not going to read these whole things. I'm just gonna
if there's a one you could just summarize yourself, we don't have to read the.
Yeah, it's kind of a puzzle platform horror adventure game. And it's got these two kids, and this one is two new child protagonists, Lo and Alone, and they're kind of like navigating through this weird like dreamscape, and they're like trying to get away from things that are chasing them and stuff. It's a very interesting little puzzly platforming game. And I really like the first one. I don't think I ever beat it, but they are cool little games.
Yeah. This next one is interesting. So apparently there's other ones of this, but it's the Dark Pictures Anthology series. It's called Directive 8020. And it's one of these interactive drama and survival horror games. I guess it says it's the first game of the second season and the fifth game overall. And I guess it's like you get 5 playable protagonists in a multi-linear narrative.
Yeah, this one's like The Quarry or.
Oh, it is that way? Okay, yeah, that's
or
what I figured.
Until Dawn. Yeah, I've actually owned all of these. There was a bundle that had all of these in one, and I bought them all on Steam. So
that's cool.
I have the first 4. I started the first one, and it's very much like kind of like choose your own adventure, like you're just making choices, kind of thing. But they're really cool. And I definitely want to go through this whole series. So I'm kind of excited that there's a new one coming out.
Nice.
You're
next.
Next one up is Doom: The Dark Ages. Of course, is another sequel to Doom, first-person shooter. I haven't really gotten into the the newer Dooms. I was a big Doom fan back in the day with the original ones, but the newer ones, I don't know, the something about them just doesn't grab me. But this one is actually a prequel to the 2016 Doom reboot that kind of launched the whole new modern wave of Doom. So that's kind of cool.
This one I never heard of, but this one it's PC only, and this one comes out May. But this sounds like something right up our alley. We may need to like try this one out on Steam or something. It's called Project Mist. It says it's a new open world survival horror, and it says explore an enigmatic island, fight against colossal monsters, build and defend your base while crafting traps, siege weapons, upgrading your gear, and gravity gun. It says survive or perish while unraveling the secrets behind the giant wall.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. We should.
I like open world survival games anyway.
I know. I still got to try that Star Wars one that I just got, Outlaws. I know.
Yeah, that one's cool. Dark Fracture is the next one up. This is a psychological horror experience in which you explore an ever-changing world where reality and nightmare collide. Walk on the edge of madness in the shoes of a tormented soul as you descend into the darkest depths of the human psyche and question everything you see. Interesting.
Yeah, that's like for everything too. Look at that. Even the Nintendo Switch should grab that one. This one's just a slap in Tim's face. Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 now. Now they can't even get past Bloodlines, just one of them.
Well, to be fair, the original Bloodlines came out in 2004, so they were there before the Bloodlines trend. So
yes, I know they were.
I'll give them credit.
I just know it like it rustles your ear like they even hear it. But anyway, this is just a sequel to obviously Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. So based on a role playing game, right? I guess.
Yeah. So Vampire the Masquerade, I actually played that back in the day. It's a game. It's like a D&D type tabletop game but you get to play actual vampires, and there's different clans, and it's a lot of fun. It was really cool. I had a lot of stuff for it. And Ken played it with us too. So he knows all about it. Next one up is Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days, Texas, 1980. Walton City has fallen to a zombie outbreak. Lead a band of desperate survivors from refuge to refuge by scavenging, crafting, and fighting in a relentless struggle for survival. Plan wisely, stick together, and above all, keep moving if you want to make it out alive. That one is PC only. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days.
This one sounds kind of fun. The Occultist, again, just 2025, and this is for all the major systems, not Switch, though, sadly. It says, images are engraved in my mind that would make any man tremble in fear, but I am not just any man. I am the Occultist. It says, basically, accompany Alan Rebels on his most terrifying occult investigation in the spine-chilling horror experience. That sounds fun.
Okay, yep. Next up, another PC exclusive. This was Ritual Tides. In Ritual Tides, players will find themselves washed up on a beach with the only goal being to uncover the island's horrific secrets. Gruesomely designed enemies lurk, danger lies around every corner, and you best hide or run. Ritual Tides presents a gun, but not in a typical fashion, candidly setting it apart from other games within this space. More on this to come in the future. No spoilers for now.
Okay. Yeah. Next one's a sequel, Tormented Souls 2. Basically, it's just Carolyn Walker is back, and the classic survivor horror sequel. And you got to go through monasteries and nightmarish locations. So that'll be kind of fun. I didn't play the first one.
Is I don't remember the first one. Next one up is another PC exclusive. This is an indie horror video game by Vincent Adinolfi, and it's described by the developer as a lo-fi retro horror game. Integrates elements of survival horror and psychological horror set in an abandoned house rumored to be able to revive the dead. There was a demo that came out in 2020, so we'll see what that was like. Looks like it's been in development for a while.
Hey, it says like the demo released on the 2020 horror game compilation Haunted PS1 demo disc. What does that mean? It was like those old PS1 demo discs that they used to have.
No idea.
It was on there. That's how long this thing has been made. PS1 was old
even in 2020.
I know. Finally, we have Chronos: The New Dawn. It's a pulse-pounding third-person survival horror game that throws you into the heart of a deadly struggle against overwhelming foes, all while uncovering the mysteries of a twisted time travel story.
Very cool. So lots of good stuff coming out. I'm sure there's going to be. We used to go through board games. I even looked at the board game list. I'm sure there'll be plenty of horror board games coming out.
Well, we mentioned one. We mentioned Horrified. That's good.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this preview. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to this year in the horror space. I think it's going to be another great year for movies. There's a lot of great horror movies that have already been announced that I'm very looking forward to. So, we'll see what happens. And we're going to be back here soon with some interviews. We got our Nosferatu roundtable coming up. Lots of good episodes coming up. Again, try to look for these on Wednesdays is where we're going to try to make our new release date. Try to stick to that for a little while. And as always, we got a really nice, shout out to David Terry. He sent us a really nice email.
Oh, he did? I didn't see it.
Yeah, yeah. He sent us a really nice email talking about our part 1 preview, which I really appreciated his kind words. And
he's always got the nicest stuff.
He does. So yeah, shout out, David. I'm glad you're still listening and hanging with us through last season.
Yes, and I still owe you the visit day. We will get down to San Diego because I know he promised us a beer tour. So I will try. Nice. I will let you know if I'm getting down there.
Yeah. So we'll see you back here, guys, next week, and maybe sooner, depending on if we have to do a mini-sode. So
yeah,
so stick to social media and
early. Yeah, just keep follow us on. I think probably the most reliable one will be Blue Sky right now. So
yeah. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you back here soon.
See ya.